Welcome to Outside Views. Today we are tackling an intriguing question, one that seems counterintuitive at first glance. Could Brexit have actually been the best thing that's happened to the EU? Now, I know this sounds like a stretch, especially given the chaos, economic strain, and the divides Brexit caused. But in the years since the UK left, some unexpected effects have emerged that should suggest that Brexit may have unified the EU in ways previously unthinkable. In this analysis, I'll explore the arguments that Brexit, for all its drawbacks, may have been a catalyst for a stronger EU. Let's start with a quick recap of Brexit's origins and what drove the decision. Brexit was, without a doubt, a landmark moment in modern European history. The UK, a key member of the EU, chose to leave in a referendum in 2016, spurred by concerns over sovereignty, immigration, and what many saw as an overreach by Brussels. The Brexit vote was close, reflecting a divided public opinion on the role of the EU in British life. But while those advocating Brexit saw it as a reclaiming of control, others feared it would leave the UK isolated and less influential. Fast forward to today, and Brexit has indeed transformed not just the UK but also the EU in profound ways. The question is, have these transformations ultimately strengthened the EU? And if so, could Brexit have been a catalyst for a more resilient, more unified Europe? To answer this, we need to dive into some of the key shifts we've seen in the EU since Brexit. Firstly, let's address one of the most significant effects of Brexit: the boost in pro-European sentiment across the continent. Euroscepticism, or skepticism towards the EU, wasn't just a pure British phenomenon. In the years leading up to Brexit, we saw similar sentiments rising in countries like Italy, France, Greece, and even here in Germany, where I sit. Political movements across the EU questioned the value of being part of the Union, challenging its policies and demanding change. But Brexit seems to have altered this trajectory. Instead of an inspiring domino effect where other countries might follow the UK's lead, Brexit appears to have had the opposite effect. The departure of the UK has acted as a cautionary tale. European nations have watched the struggles, the complexities, and the economic consequences that Brexit has unleashed on the UK. And the lessons learned? Leaving the EU is no easy task, and it's certainly no quick fix for domestic problems. As a result, pro-European sentiment has surged in recent years, reaching levels not seen in decades. A Eurobarometer survey taken shortly after Brexit showed trust in EU institutions rising significantly, and people saw what happened with Brexit and began to reassess the benefits of being part of a united Europe. In a way, Brexit highlighted the positive aspects of EU membership: the stability, the access to a large single market, the ease of movement, and the influence that comes with being a part of a larger interconnected bloc. But beyond just public sentiment, Brexit has also impacted the political dynamics within the EU. For years, the UK often acted as a brake on certain EU initiatives, especially those involving deeper integration. The UK resisted closer union, more federalist policies, and was wary of policies that might seem to undermine national sovereignty. With the UK gone, the EU has found itself more able to pursue policies that might have faced British resistance. Take, for instance, the EU's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Union managed to come together to create an unprecedented financial package to support recovery, something that might have been more challenging with the UK in the mix. Similarly, there has been renewed momentum on issues like environmental policy, defense cooperation, and digital regulation. Without the UK's influence pulling in a different direction, the EU has found it easier to move forward on initiatives that promote integration. And let's not forget the symbolic aspect. Brexit became a live case study of what it means to leave the Union. The difficulties the UK has faced since leaving, trade barriers, customs complications, supply chain issues, have all underscored the value of being part of a larger economic bloc. And this has likely deterred other member states from even considering a departure. And when we look at Eurosceptic movements in countries like Italy or France, Brexit has, in many ways, tempered their momentum. It's shown people that leaving the EU isn't a simple solution, that it comes with real consequences and complexities. Now, there's another interesting angle here. Economically speaking, Brexit forced the EU to rethink its trade strategies. Losing a major economy like the UK was a blow, no question. The EU had to find ways to fill the gap left by one of its largest contributors. But instead of seeing this as a setback, the EU used it as an opportunity to strengthen its global partnerships. In recent years, the EU has been signing new trade deals with countries around the world, including Japan, Canada, and Australia. And this diversification of trade partnerships has, in a way, made the EU less dependent on the UK market, ironically. And from economic resilience perspective, that's not a bad thing. With a more diversified trade portfolio, the EU is arguably better positioned to withstand global economic shifts. And this resilience has even influenced how the EU is viewed globally. There's a renewed respect for the EU's ability to adapt and evolve in the face of challenges. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't economic consequences. The EU did lose one of its major budget contributors with Brexit. Germany and France have taken on a larger share of the financial burden, and member states had to make budget adjustments. But interestingly, the EU's economy has held steady, defying the gloomy predictions that were common right after the Brexit vote. In fact, Brexit may have spurred the EU to focus more on economic solidarity and fiscal responsibility within its own borders. The idea of an Italexit or Frexit has lost some steam as people realize the realities of life outside the Union. So, in a twist of irony, Brexit may have ended up uniting the EU more firmly than ever. And for all its flaws and inefficiencies, the EU represents stability, shared purpose, and economic opportunity that single nations struggle to achieve alone. Brexit served as a stark reminder of what the EU offers, especially in a world that's becoming increasingly interconnected. Today we are seeing an EU that's more decisive, more committed to its long-term goals, and perhaps more unified in its mission. Brexit may have been a blow, but also forced the EU to evolve, adapt, and strengthen its foundations. So, was Brexit the best thing that happened to the EU? It's certainly a question that will be debated for years to come. The answer isn't simple, but the signs are there. The EU has emerged from this experience with a clearer sense of purpose and a renewed commitment to unity. Brexit may have intended to divide, but its lasting legacy might just be a stronger, more resilient European Union. So thank you for watching Outside Views, and if you found this analysis thought-provoking, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned as we continue exploring the major issues shaping post-Brexit worlds. Until next time, take care, and the next video is right here in the end screen.